Okay. Right, today I'm going to talk to you about celiac disease. Looking at the pictures on the screen, on your whiteboards in front of you, could you please write down the items that you think may contain gluten?
Could we do them by numbers?
You can do, yes, if you want to, yeah, whatever's easiest. Just pick the ones that you think, you know, might contain gluten. You got some? Yeah, oh, thank you, Dan. Yeah, you've got a good list there. Jamie? Okay, stop that. Yeah, most of you, I think, have got it. You're right. All of these items do contain gluten, and they're often hidden in ingredients that you may not expect. For example, the chicken sandwich contains gluten in the bun and the coating on the chicken itself. Sausages, again, it's in the rusk that binds the sausages and ingredients together. Beer, you've obviously got barley. Chips, again, the coating contains gluten. Kit Kat, one of my favourites. Can't eat it now. That's got gluten in the wafer. HB brown sauce, again, you wouldn't think that, but barley and rye flour in there. And all breads, obviously, unless a gluten-free bread, contain gluten, which sort of contain wheat. The gravy as well contains wheat to bind the granules together. So does anyone know what celiac disease is?
Is it like an inflammatory disease?
It's a type of inflammatory gluten. This causes damage to your small intestine, so the body cannot populate the nutrients. Celiac disease can cause a range of symptoms, including abdominal, diarrhea, stomach cramping, bloating, indigestion and fatigue. It's caused by an adverse reaction to gluten, which is a dietary protein found in 3 types of cereal: wheat, barley and rye. What is celiac disease? I'll go through the treatment. There's no known cure for celiac disease, so anyone suffering from it would need to follow a lifelong gluten-free diet to help control the symptoms. Complications of celiac disease only tend to affect people who continue to eat gluten. Being diagnosed with those not already diagnosed, complications are osteoporosis, iron deficiency, vitamin B12, less common types of cancer such as stomach cancer, bowel, problems affecting pregnancy such as diabetes.
Are you born with it?
Celiac disease it's an autoimmune disease, so it can be genetically linked. Quite often, a lot of people develop symptoms in sort of midlife. I was diagnosed at 40. Some people will be diagnosed earlier.
And will it never go then? Once you've got it,
No,
you can't.
it's a lifelong condition. So, how many people in the UK do you think would be affected by celiac disease?
You want to just write this on the whiteboard?
If that's okay, if you could write that on the whiteboard.
Is it a percentage or actually how many people?
How many people in the UK do you think may be affected by celiac disease? Any answers there?
3 million?
5 minutes. 60.
Okay, well,
I went with 300.
yeah. Well, celiac disease, it's a condition that affects 1 in 100.
Put that one in.
This figure could be considerably higher due to misdiagnosis. Symptoms like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or other digestive conditions. So sort of 68 million in the UK, so percentage of that, it's not too far. So, diagnosis. Routine testing is not done in England. Tests are normally only carried out on people who have the symptoms of the condition or are at an increased risk due to family history or family history of celiac disease. However, if you do suffer any of the symptoms, then your GP can arrange a blood test to check whether there's any gluten antibodies in the system.
Is that how it's diagnosed? Just one simple
Yes,
blood
it's
test?
medically diagnosed. It has to be medically diagnosed by a blood test initially. So that will then detect the gluten antibodies within the blood, which basically means your immune system's producing a response to ingested gluten. From that then, it's a matter of, you can have an iron test, because that's another indicator. If your iron is low, that's quite often a good indicator.
What made you get diagnosed? What was
Mine,
the condition?
what I say later, I did find I was getting excessive constant itching all the time. It feels like my skin's crawling, itching behind the eyes, particularly the ears. And that's, we put it off for so long, and eventually I went to the doctor and he looked at the eyes and said, I think I know what you've got, but you need to for you. Rather blood test.
Is that itching can happen anywhere, or is that?
But
Is it so the itching?
it's mainly just to say, can be your eyes and your ears, or just a general feeling of you've got hands crawling over you. It's just not a normal itch that you want to scratch and think, oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. It's just it's an awful feeling.
Yeah.
So almost it is like an immune response. It's allergic reaction, which is because you're injecting the gluten. Obviously, it comes out, manifests itself onto your skin.
Yeah.
And that's probably a way everybody's saying that, look, there's something not quite right if it's, prolonged.
Did you not get the stomach problems?
I did, yeah, there was, sort of problems with the digestive system. But again, you put it down to sometimes when you're that sort of age, eating, drinking, the wrong things, you don't really think of it as a contributing factor to the diagnosis. Onto the website. Coeliac UK is a website to go to for help and advice, and their recommended products are depicted with the cross-grain symbol that you can see. Okay. They offer a wide range of help, including dietary, where to eat out, as it's now far easier with many restaurants having gluten-free menus, and all of their menus list the gluten-containing ingredients. And again, there's many people who share their own stories of dealing with life with a gluten intolerance. So, gluten-free diet. Eating out can have repercussions, as there's always a possibility of cross-contamination of food cooked in areas. So all gluten-free food does need to be prepared and cooked separately. So just as simply as using separate utensils, pans, things like that, just so there's no means of cross-contamination. Particularly oil is a big one. There's a lot of contamination from oil, when you're cooking chips and stuff like that. Really just takes a crumb. And that's
So it is
something-
like severe, it's like
some
an
people,
allergy.
it'd be almost like a nut allergy, yeah. Just a crumb can cause inflammation within your small intestine.
That's
So I was going to say that some people do choose to follow a gluten-free diet, other than medical reasons. But again, gluten-free diet is a way of maintaining a healthy lifestyle and weight. You get a lot of the celebs doing that. Okay. On to the drink. Gluten-free food and drink. gluten-containing ingredients are normally listed in bold on food packaging. But if the packaging has a cross-grain symbol on it, this means the levels of gluten are 20 parts per million or below, ppm for short. So that's a minimum amount that you can have. Anything more can evoke a response to the immune system. Anything below, most celiac people are fine with. Okay, so this cross-grain symbol again is a gluten-free product certification recognised nationally and internationally, and it's promoted by the Coeliac organisation. Okay. So how would you think the cost of gluten-free foods compared to regular food products?
A lot more.
I bet they're more expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot more
Yeah.
expensive, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yes.
About 3 times more.
Not quite as much, but certain things can be.
Is that down to the processing costs? Not how much it takes to
Yeah.
process the food rather than
Yeah,
with it
yeah,
just
that's right.
using
It
normal
is
milk?
obviously, everything has to be, you know, sort of clinical, no chance of cross-contamination. Okay. So just for instance, small packet of gluten-free digestive biscuits, 170 for 160 grams. You've got your normal pack of non-gluten-free, 55 pence for 400 grams. So, yeah, you know, can be 3 times. A small gluten-free loaf, £2.20 for 300 grams. Your normal small non-gluten-free loaf, £1. So again, that's double on the bread pretty much. My favourite, the beer. 4 pack of 330ml gluten-free Stella Artois, £6. You get more in your cans there, 4 pack of 440ml non-gluten-free for £5.15. So that isn't too bad. I do find the beer
I'd have thought that,
isn't
yeah.
too bad.
I'd have thought that would be
Certain
more.
brands can be a lot more expensive, but you go for something like Stella, it's reasonably priced overall.
Does it taste much different?
To be fair, you wouldn't. I've given like friends, family, gluten-free bottle of beer. You wouldn't know the difference. You know.
That's
Yes, you have your zero alcohol. You can tell, but
Yeah.
with that, the taste, particularly with the Stella, you wouldn't even. You wouldn't even know.
That's good.
Okay. So, any questions on that?
So how long did it take for you before you kind of, well, I suppose you do have symptoms, but I'm lactose intolerant
Yes,
and I
I
eat
know,
dairy
so-
all the time,
yeah.
I've got no willpower.
Yeah.
Yes, it's slightly different for you because you've
Yeah.
got, you know,
Yeah,
it's affects
so
you
that's
more.
more an intolerance as opposed to autoimmune.
So
So you
is
can always get away with that a little bit. But
Was it like
obviously-
overnight for you? Was you just like, no, actually I can't have this,
Well,
and you never dabbled in the
Once
cheese
you
and
medicate,
cake?
they always say before diagnosis, carry on eating gluten, and as soon as we perform the blood test, at that point then, and it's confirmed that you are, at that point then, we strongly recommend that you abstain from gluten and try and lead a gluten-free lifestyle. Simply because of the repercussions if you don't.
And you never should do
It's
that.
long-term damage. I mean, every time you eat gluten, it damages there's like little fingers in the small intestine that absorb the nutrients. What happens if you keep eating gluten? They flatten out, so the nutrients pass through, and of course, nothing's absorbed. And then if you abstain for a bit, they'll repair themselves and lift back up. So it's that constant repairing and damaging that causes the potential for like stomach cancer or worse. So yeah.
Do you ever find yourself eating wheat now?
No, I never touch wheat. Always check the ingredients thoroughly on any packaging that we buy. My wife does quite well at shopping, but anything she always checks. Well, I check if I'm out, particularly if you're out in a restaurant. Always has to see the gluten-free menu and check the ingredients just to make sure there's nothing,
How do you find your experience when you're eating out now? Is it
It's a lot better now than it was sort of 20 years ago. 20 years ago it was unheard of, and particularly in the supermarkets. There was nothing I'd issued out of things prescribed on the NHS, like your bread, your flours, things like that. But now they are, yes, again, you still get the price difference, but they're more readily available. So, you can go out and buy them if you want to bake a cake or might do something like that, or what would you say? Yeah, very much more mainstream now than it was 20, 30 years ago. Okay, so just brought in some gluten-free samples just for you to try. Some gluten containing. You open them if you want to have a munch, gluten-free, lots of stuff. There's gluten and non-gluten, so
Oh wow.
say now, just help yourselves if you want to. Next week's lesson, quite happy to give some feedback on that if you want to.
Thank you very much.
Just have a look at that. I'll give those to James, so I know he likes chocolate digestives. There you go, just help yourself.
Thank you
It's
very
all got to
much.
go. Take it all with you if you want. Something to the phone, your friends, family, if you wish. So yeah, if you just take a minute just to check the back, have a look, you know, if you've got something it's free from, just make sure that you clearly see that there's no wheat, barley and rye. Obviously the gluten containing ones, you'll see that this contains wheat. As I say, the packaging now is very, very self-explanatory, very informative. It does list everything that you need to know when you have a condition or celiac disease. Okay,
Thank you very much.
okay, thank you very much.
This food's very expensive, Bill. Definitely take it back.
No,